Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 2. We're already on week 2. Isn't it great? You guys having fun? Did you guys look at any fun menus while during the week? Did you go out to eat anywhere? Anything eye-catching? Oh, Chef Eric, we need to show them that picture too.
Yeah, that's what I also meant to talk to you about in our meeting today, which I totally spaced. Was I'm gonna have some fun game for next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of a what did she call it? She said, "Now you see it, now you don't," and it's actually pretty cool. So things to come for next week. So viewers at home, please come to next week's live session. It's going to be a real fun one. We're going to play some games.
Yeah, that sounds like fun, right? It's a great reason to come to a live session, right? Yes, Chef, it's totally awesome. Oh, good. I'm so glad. And those who are watching the live session archive, remember, come to the live session next week for a fun-filled game. All right? Yay.
What did you think?
Rachel, which subs? Yeah. That's where you went for yours? Yes?
Tell us about it.
How did you like the menu? Did you like how they had it set up?
I do like the menu. Yes, yeah.
What was it that caught your eye?
I like the way that you have the options, the little boxes where you can check off and build your sandwich. Nice. I also like how they have some sandwiches already built for you. So for the people who it may be overwhelming for them.
Nice, nice. All right. Anybody else had any fun menus that they looked at?
No, I went to a new steakhouse they put here, but it was unusual to see a steakhouse that also had a buffet in it. Because one side he had a buffet and the other one was just regular menu. And so when you was talking about concepts as far as having something for everybody, including the kids, so I guess that's what his concept was, buffet style and plus a regular menu. But
plus regular. Nice. And did you like it?
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of people there because they just only been open for a month.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, and I have a fabulous question for all of you guys. It's a menu question. My sister-in-law went to a restaurant in town, just opened up, and they had, she wanted to order a few different things. And she was like, oh, could I try this salad? And then the waiter told her, no, sorry, we're out of that one. We had to 86 it, we're all out. And she was like, okay, well, I'm super excited that you guys have the Impossible Burger. Have you guys heard of the Impossible Burger? You guys haven't heard of the Impossible? No.
Does that mean it's impossible to get?
The Impossible, yeah, it was impossible to get. So she was excited. It's supposed to be like a plant-based burger that to taste. No, that one's the Beyond Meat burger is the one that fake bleeds. But this one.
Did she like it?
Well, it's apparently everybody loves it, and I'm going to show you the thing since you guys have not seen this. This is their little thing, and they use all of these type of ingredients to make their burger. You have coconut, potato, edamame. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's all the combination of everything in there. And it looks something like that. So the problem that she ran into is that she said, oh yes, I'm super excited. You have the Impossible Burger on your menu. I would like that. And they told her, the waitstaff said, I'm sorry, we do not have that, and we will not have that until October because McDonald's just bought all of the Impossible Burger supply, and we will not have it until October. And that is on their menu, and it's July. And this was this weekend I saw her, and she went on July 13th, and it's on the menu still. What do you think of that?
Shame, shame, shame.
Misleading.
Misleading, right? Because people will go to your establishment because they see that you have something that they're excited to try and they've never had it before, or they've had it and they love it, and then to get there to find out that that item's not going to be there until October. Yeah, not good, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the restaurant should have done?
Either taking it off the menu or put a side note available at the state.
Yeah, on the menu, put a side note. Where would you put the side note to? Where else would you put it?
Like as our, when they first come in, so that way they know. Or even post a little note on the door.
And see a note on the door, like on the board. Where else would you guys put it?
Next to
look at is up on the menu, attach it to the menu.
Yep, attach it to the menu. And then Rachel said on their website. Yes, you want social media to know that on social media, hey, we are sorry, we do not have this right now. But we will update you as soon as we get it, right? We're going to do all of that stuff. As Chef Eric wrote in the chat, you put Facebook, Twitter, etc. Because you better believe. Oh, say that again, Chef?
I said spread the word, let everybody know. I mean, now what do you think this does, though, if they do this, right? Do you think this is going to affect their overall revenue coming into their establishment?
Well, hopefully they have other products that will entice somebody. I mean, if that source of getting somebody in, then you need to revamp your menu.
And you also have to think too, I mean, my sister-in-law left mad because she was excited to try this place and she tried the Impossible Burger and to have it. And now she feels like it was false advertising, as Deborah said. And now she doesn't ever want to go back to that restaurant again. So they just lost a customer for life because they did not have it or let anybody know. So is it better to maybe even, I would even say, do a new menu, right? Get rid of that item so that people do not see it, even if it is for a short time. But October, that's like months away, right? That's months away. I would want to have a new menu, right? So that you don't upset your target market. And your target market is what we get to talk about this week. So let me pull up my stuff. And we get to talk about demographics. Now, when you hear demographics, what do you guys think of? What do you guys think of when you hear demographics?
People, different types of ages.
Yeah, people, different types of ages. It's, here, let me pull up my slide. And you'll just see one of my favorite little memes right here. I love this one. Why is it called research? When you're searching for it for the first time. Love that one. But it's understanding the area that you are in, right? You have your concept, You have to figure out your location, and knowing your location has everything to do with your menu, because you'll be able to understand the type of food that people would enjoy in that area, who you're actually going to market to, because once you know the whole of the demographic of your entire area, you can narrow that down and find who your target market is going to be. And when I say target demographics, you can find all of this information. And if I click on Census.gov, I want somebody to say a city, state, or town. What town am I doing?
Detroit.
Detroit. Did I spell it right? Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. And it'll take a second. But this is where I always like to say, when you make connections, this is a great time, especially when you're a culinary student, to start making connections, start looking at people and finding where everybody is in QuickBooks. And then you can already start getting to know who's in your community, who you would want to, who your health department is, who the, if you have a business, downtown business association, or the chambers of commerce, knowing who those people are can help you, especially when you get ready to start your own business. And this is some of the information that they picked up. So you have population, how many people are in that area. You have how old people are, the percentage. You have, veterans versus the housing versus families. Who uses computers and internet, which is great. They can actually tell you who has internet and who doesn't. And then education level, what their health is like, if they're older, if they have any type of disabilities. Why do you think knowing what type of disabilities someone would have would be important for you?
So you know if they're wheelchair bound, so that way they're able to get into your restaurant.
Yeah, you want to make sure if you, and I actually know a friend of mine who, he opened up his establishment right next to a hospital. And so he would get a lot of people who are coming to and from the hospital. And I actually had quite a few. It's an interesting thing, especially if you have, for me, I have ulcerative colitis. There's a million different boards out there for people with diabetes and ulcerative colitis and Crohn's and all that kind of stuff. And then, because as soon as somebody knows that they can eat at your establishment, it's every single chat board will now know that they can eat at your establishment. Be like, oh, people with ulcerative colitis, guess what? I was able to eat this at this restaurant, and it was great, and they were super accommodating, and I didn't even have to worry. They took care of everything for me. And that is a great, great tool to have so that you can know who you're actually going to be feeding. I would say that, especially in Colorado, 60% of my clientele had some form of dietary restriction or allergy. 60%. If I just said, good luck, go eat elsewhere, I would have lost 60% of my business. So that's why these type of numbers and looking at this is really, really important, because it can help you understand the type of people you're actually going to be seeing in your establishment. let me pull up. Doop, doop. Where is my, aha. So this right here. So you see how, and it's, what you're doing is actually just breaking down the groups, right? If you know, if what generation they are, that can help you understand, hey, is this going to be, am I going to have a lot of elderly around me? Because elderly people like to eat early, right? They want to eat early? Yes, chef, they do. Yes. My mother eats at like 5 p.m., is in bed by 7. Granted, she was a nurse for 50 years and had to start work at like 4 a.m., but she is still going to be eating at 5, in bed between 7 and 8 o'clock. Yes, I know. I see the smirks of everybody. It is true. And then you can kind of actually get a guide. So for the generations, we know that Generation Z people, those people born 1995 to now, they tend to actually spend quite a bit of their money on food right now. So, and that includes like your teenagers. And your teenagers may eat differently than, say, a 25-year-old, right? I don't know about you, but my husband, when he was a teenager, he would eat 2-foot-long, 1-foot-long Subway sandwiches and then go home and eat. Like, he had a crazy metabolism. I'm feeling like Chef Eric would especially have an insane metabolism. I just get that feeling out of you. Is that right?
You remember our dinner, right? Remember when graduation? I was like, you going to finish that? I
did
think
not see that.
and I were both like the ones that were finishing plates if nobody wanted them. I was like, well, you know that the appetizer right there, you gonna hit that, or anybody else want that? And there's like 3 pieces left, and so yep, down the bat. No worries.
And knowing this type of stuff can really be helpful, because then you can really get a feel, especially say if you have if you realize your demographic has a bunch of families in there. What do you think you would need for those families? To actually get families to show up in your place, what do you think would be important?
Anyone? Usually people with families have younger kids,
Entertain the kids.
so they need a kids. No?
Yeah. What did you say, Rachel?
Something to keep the children entertained.
Yeah, something to keep the children entertained, right? They have the fun menus. They actually have, you know, the crayons. We go to a place and they actually have like the Jenga, and they'll have like Connect 4, like the old school games, and like, you know, the little like oh, a bunch of kid games, and I cannot remember the kid games right now. But, and that is great because I'm like, oh, awesome. I will totally go there because my kid can just sit there and play a game and eat at the same time. Yes, Rachel, it was tic-tac-toe. Thank you. Oh, and it was great because we were able to eat. They had a kids menu, and it was a kids menu that wasn't a boring kids menu. It's not just a, oh, mac and cheese, chicken nuggets, pizza, burger. My kid eats curry. Like, my kid eats, like, you know, chicken korma, and we'll eat dim sum, and like, he will eat asparagus because he thinks they look like magic wands. Like, kids will actually, you know, eat more than just that chicken nuggets, you know, French fries, pizza. So, and that's why we picked that place. They had games and they had things that my kid would actually eat. They didn't just do the typical like carb heavy meal. Because when you think about feeding for kids, I mean, we all make dinner, right? And everybody eats the same thing. It's not like you're going to make a dinner and then have your kid eat something else. No, he's sitting and he has to eat the same thing that everybody else is, right? Yes. Yes. How many people have kids? Yes. I see a raise of hands. Will they eat the food that you make?
They better. They can go to bed hungry.
They better. What about you guys?
Yes.
Yes. And then what about for when you go to a restaurant? What do they prefer to eat?
My meal, not theirs.
Mine's all grown, so
What did you say, Deborah?
I said all my kids are grown.
All your kids are grown. Or what about your any grandkids?
Grandkids is a different story.
Yeah.
Grandkids are different. They get away with a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Well, with grandma and grandpa, most definitely. Not a matter of their parents, though. Their parents can be. So say, like, when your kids were kids, would they want to eat the same food that you had? Or did you have to make them, like, a special meal, like mac and cheese if you're having a steak dinner? Michelle, you're muted.
Oh, I just told them everything was sweet potatoes, and then they would eat it.
Everything was sweet potatoes, so then they would eat it. Well,
Spaghetti. It's sweet potatoes, okay, and they'd eat it.
right. And then when you are looking at these things, such as looking at for families, you're also looking at lifestyles. And when I say lifestyles, I'm talking about, do they live in a rural area? Do they live in the city? Do they live in the suburbs? Like, where do they live? Because where you live will determine also what you may or may not want to go eat. So if, when I lived in the city, there's so many different places. I would go out and try a bunch of different places. I was more likely to try a new restaurant in a big city than say I would in a rural area, right? Because in a rural area, you don't have as many options. So when you don't have that many options, I'm not, and when I lived in the country, it wasn't like I was checking my social media and online to see how the reviews were. I would know who the owners are, and I would go in because I had that connection with them. Versus in the city, you don't know who those people, you may not know who owns that restaurant. So you may rely on social media far more, right? How about you guys? Where do you guys live? Are you city folk, country? I've been everything.
Literally boonies.
So I see city, I see rural, I see
suburbs-ish area. Yeah.
Suburbs-ish area. And then Chef Eric, are you in suburb?
I'm kind of in between.
Yeah, you're kind of like it's suburb/city.
Yeah, to where if I want to go to the city, it's just 20 minutes. Hop, skip, and a jump. Easy peasy. But in the immediate demographic I live in, there are mainly a lot of fast food joints, not really many, good restaurants to really get after. A lot of like basic Applebee's, Chili's, family style establishments, as to where with me, I have to find that one new up and coming establishment and check them out. They're going to be something different, something strange. I got to let my family in on it as well, as to where we rarely ever eat out at the same establishment twice within a year.
And yeah, never the same twice in a year, huh?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, and we can do that because, and I'm not sure about Denver, but I know in where I am, there are 600 different food establishments that I could eat at. 600. Isn't that craziness? So knowing how many are around you guys, do you have that many?
Yes.
Yes. So I take Sharon, are you in the city?
Yes, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? Oh, Philadelphia, Sharon. And you, this is perfect because you have even a different demographic that you can also look at. the tourists, because Philadelphia is historic, right?
Yeah.
So much stuff happened there. Like, you know, I feel like it's the same thing in, like, you know, Massachusetts. You throw a rock in any direction and something historical has happened. Like, you are a travel destination, right?
Yeah.
So you may have way more tourists in your area than, say, somebody who lives in like farm country. So then you would be looking at even at different demographics, like those tourists, because with tourists, what do they typically do? When you guys go travel, what do you do?
Eat out.
Yeah,
Go
you
sightseeing,
eat out.
get out and go eat.
Yeah,
Try
you
different
eat out.
restaurants.
You go eat, and you have disposable cash, right?
Yeah.
You saved up money for your trip. You have that cash to go and do those fun dining experiences and to eat out and go look at all the different, you know, landmarks and the Liberty Bell and all that good stuff. So, um, so that's the great thing about being in those type of areas, is that you can also look at how like how much tourism you actually have in your area. Jonathan, what is your question?
Yeah, it's over 1,500 establishments here in Houston, or more, if I'm calculating correctly, to eat at. So we have a vast variety of eateries here in Houston.
You said 1,500
Or more.
or more? Dang, 1,500. So then, when you guys think about where you want to eat, what do you look for?
Well, the spice, I love the Indian spice, different eateries on that side, and then also the customary of eating fine dining with steaks, which is a big variety here. Also with the customary of, you know, you have Philly cheesesteaks are wide here. So it's a big scale here to eat on.
Yeah. What about everybody else?
If I looked at the appropriate place, I got 405 million different within 30 miles. For some reason, that just doesn't sound right to me.
405 million?
Yeah, I think they might be counting every establishment, whether they're different or not. But
Dang, yeah, because that's quite a lot, right? And it's so important to know this information, because it's going to help you a lot with your concept. You are going to now be able to figure out, like, your price. How convenient is it? Do people want to do full service around where you are, or are you located in the downtown district where you have a bunch of people who work 9 to 5 and they just want that quick bite to eat on back to the office? This will be able to help you, because we talked about meatloaf last week. Let's see about perfect example, Panera Bread. So Panera Bread in around us has this their seasonal menu for the summertime is different in Colorado than it is in Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, you can get a lobster roll at the Panera Bread, versus here you have the steak and arugula sandwich. The steak and arugula sandwich was not at my parents' Panera Bread, and I certainly do not have the lobster roll in Colorado. Why do you think that is?
There's no ocean in Colorado.
Yeah, there's no ocean in Colorado, right? Do you think somebody in Colorado would eat a lobster roll?
Probably not.
I'm seeing Eric saying, Chef Eric saying yes.
And reasonable is kind of hard to go by. I mean,
there's actually
like Georgia, they want $12.99 for one lobster.
Yeah.
two establishments. One that's up and coming that's about to open in the Reno district that is owned by a couple from Massachusetts that is about to open up an actual establishment that's going to serve all the Massachusetts style cuisine, from lobster rolls, you name it, they got it. And then there's one that's right down the street from me that I've actually spoken with the owner, and he actually flies in fresh fish from Florida. And that's the only other place I will ever eat any kind of seafood in Colorado, because the factor of, is it fresh? That's the first question that always pops into my head. Is it fresh? I see even Red Lobster. I don't touch Red Lobster in Colorado. Why? Because where's the closest ocean? And I don't know where, come on.
But that's where, and, Carrie, what is your question?
I didn't want to talk it over anybody, but I live in like a unique demographic because my husband is military. So we move all the time. And I would say, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and I've lived everywhere, even different countries. So if, like in Arizona, I would have killed for a restaurant when we lived in Arizona that had Pennsylvania bread to have a real hoagie. So if I lived in Colorado and I went to Panera Bread, if I was from, Massachusetts and I wanted a lobster roll, I would probably order it. I don't care how much it costs. If the Panera Bread came out with a lobster roll in Colorado, I'd probably order it just to have something, quote, from home, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And this is where it's also important to know your location. And Rachel also brought up an excellent point in the chat, which is availability. In Massachusetts, it is far easier to find lobster at a cheaper rate than it is in Colorado. And I personally, I would not eat any seafood. I do not eat seafood or shellfish in Colorado because one, I grew up like the ocean's right there kind of thing. And so I kind of got my fill too, because my husband does have a shellfish allergy. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Don't worry, babe. Like, we don't need to. But it is interesting because there are so many people from New England in Colorado. Because Colorado has kind of everybody comes from everywhere. And Carrie brings up an excellent point about military. And I actually remember one student who was trying to open up a restaurant on a base. Did you ever stay Carrie, when you were when you traveled around, was there like a actual, restaurants on the base?
The only restaurants on the base are through AFES, which is the company that runs our PX. It's basically like our Walmart, and they're companies like Burger King, and they're all fast food joints. We have like Charlie's Subs and stuff like that. So no, I have never. The only time that there was a private company that had a restaurant on a base that we lived at was in South Korea, and that was the Katusa Snack Bar, which was an Asian. It was Korean food, and it was ran by Koreans. That's the only time I've ever been to a base that had a private company. Everything else was all owned, by a fast food, ran by fast food. I've never seen that.
Well, and you bring up an excellent point about fast food. So a great way to also see if your concept is going to do good is check out if you have any chains in your area. If you wanted to open up a coffee shop and there's a Starbucks in that area, you can be able to figure out pretty quick, like, how many people go into that Starbucks? What is their customers looking like? Are you going to be offering the same type of items? Are you going to differentiate yourself? And when I mean differentiate yourself, I mean, how are you going to stand out above all of those other restaurants? There's 600 in my area. What was it? 1,500, Jonathan, in your area? How are you going to stand out and be the one that people want to go to? And this is important because once you know like your concept, say I want to be a vegan restaurant. I'm going to have all vegan menu. My cheese is going to be made out of cashews and, you know, all this stuff. It's going to be vegan, vegan, vegan. I now know that I will not be marketing to hunters. I'm not going to market to, say, Chef Tyson, who is like, I can definitely see Chef Tyson wearing something, because if you guys have you had him yet for cost controls? Not yet? You will. And I swear I can envision him wearing something that says bacon, 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 you know, like picture of the pig and it just says bacon, bacon, bacon nonstop. He loves meat, right? He will probably not come to my restaurant. Not not a vegan place. So I'm not going to waste my time or my money marketing to him, because remember, you cannot make everybody happy, because if you try to make everybody happy, no one's going to be happy. Because if you say, well, I'm going to be in it, oh, I want to make everybody happy, so I'm going to have Italian food and Tex-Mex and Asian and like American and British and Spanish, like your menu is going to be huge and it's going to be all over the place, and no one will know, well, what are they really good at? Like they don't have that specialty, that thing that makes them really, really unique. So that's where it's really important to narrow that down, who you want to have in your establishment, and you can build your menu from there. Now, McDonald's. I like bringing up McDonald's because when you think of McDonald's, do you think they are marketing to billionaires and millionaires?
They got Trump's vote, that's for sure.
Yeah, but
they're marketing to moms who need a quick fix.
Yes, they're marketing. Yeah, they're not marketing to those millionaires and billionaires. They will still take their food, like their money. Like they will still say, yeah, you totally want to eat at my place? That's awesome. But that's not who they're trying to market to. They are fast, they are quick, they are cheap. So who do you think would go to McDonald's besides the mothers who need a break? Anybody?
The on-the-go businessman.
On the way home from work and don't feel like cooking.
On the way home from work, don't feel like cooking. See, on-the-go businessman, teenagers. Rachel, you're on fire.
What about college students?
College students, yes, because they're poor. So poor, right?
Yes.
I just finished. I'm poor from school.
Same thing about Taco Bell.
Ooh, Taco Bell. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? And then what about Denny's? Who do you think Denny's is marketing to?
Older people.
Older people? Who else? Someone with no taste buds? Well, technically, older people do in fact lose their taste buds. Like when you are a child, that is when you have the most taste buds in your mouth, and then as you get older, you lose taste buds. So they do in fact lose taste buds. Ooh, I see kids and family. Michelle?
Yeah, but that being said, kids have a lot of taste buds, but they'll eat dirt. So how good are their taste buds?
Yeah, they'll eat. Yeah, they are trying everything. They're making sure whether or not they like it or not, right? They say, hey, that might taste good, and they will give it a go. Right?
Or even, is it edible? Might as well try it. Oh, my shoe, that tastes great. Guess I can't eat it though.
But people eat weird stuff all the time, right? I mean, would you eat what's the name of the coffee that's like pooped out of an armadillo to get rid of the acid? What's that coffee called? Oh, that's something. But that's something that you need to look for. And and Denny's, they're open late too, right? So they may end up with late night college students who need a place to study and want a bite to eat. What about, say, Dave and Buster's? How many people have been to Dave and Buster's? Ooh, I did a Christmas party.
Dave and Buster's is so fun.
Yes. And what's fun about them? What do they do?
The arcade.
The arcade. You can eat there and you can play there, right? They actually call it eatertainment, right? Not entertainment, because you can eat and play there, right? That's their niche. They found what makes them stand out. What about, let's say, we did McDonald's, fast, cheap. What do you think? What other ones, Chef Eric?
Fast, cheap?
Oh, not fast, cheap, but another good example. Like Red Lobster. Red Lobster is known for selling seafood, right? You're not going to go to a Red Lobster and eat a burger. You're going to go there to eat the seafood.
If you're my wife, you would. Sorry, she just doesn't eat seafood, and if I'm on seafood, but like I said earlier, not going to.
But that's important though, and we'll bring that up later, because that's where Chef Eric brought up an excellent point, where you may have things on the menu, and we'll talk about this in a couple of weeks, that may not do great on your menu, but you still need them there so that they will they're there for the so that Chef Eric can eat and his wife and whoever else will eat the seafood, the regular items, but he's that one person that's like, well, I'll eat here because they have that one item, and that one item isn't always the one that's going to sell the best, but you kind of need it there just to have, kind of like the kids menu. You may not, there's sometimes where I'm like, well, they have a kids menu, cool, let's just eat here. And then I've solely based the entire restaurant experience based off of they have a kids menu. And that's where knowing your market is really important. Maybe you want to do a fine dining experience, right? Or is anybody going to do fine dining concept? Is he Chef Eric? Is this fine dining? Anybody? Nobody? So Chef Eric, then, who are you looking to come in and eat at your establishment?
Probably more so that of the businessmen, people that want to kind of, be a little flashy and bring in their, guests or people from out of town and be like, all right, I'm going to take you here, and be like, ooh, I'm going to, what is that? I'm going to schmooze you. Rub elbows a little bit and be like, hey, so, I'm taking you to this great deal, this great establishment. Let's go and talk some business over some good drinks, nice atmosphere, and relaxed setting. So that way we can kind of, seal this deal. You don't want to go with that other company. You want to go with mine. Those types of people, is the businessmen, not really pushing the upper class too much, but generally, the people that want to celebrate birthday parties and are older, like yourself or myself, like a lot of the guys here that want to have a night on the town with their significant other and go out to dinner for a special occasion.
Yeah. So what did you guys gather from what Chef Eric just said? So business people, so they may have a higher education, so they may be more educated, right? Because they need to be educated in what they're doing. And no matter, when I say higher education, everybody has an education, right? Everybody is doing something. You guys are going to culinary school because you're specializing in culinary. My father is a plumber. He went to plumbing school. He specializes in plumbing. People go to college to get theirs and work, like get their business majors, that kind of thing. He also sounds like he kind of wants somebody who has a little bit more money, right? A higher income. But he's also open to those people who may have a lower income, but they want to have that special night because it's an anniversary, right? So there he is promoting how it's going to be a wonderful and special, unique experience just for you, so that you have that wonderful memory of your anniversary, or you were able to close the deal. He wants to be the deal closer restaurant. So, yep, corporate America and date night folks. Yeah, exactly. And then, Alicia, what is Stonefire? You got Stonefire Kitchen?
It's a all-you-can-eat buffet with the play area, like the go-karts and stuff.
Ooh, so they also like all-you-can-eat buffet plus a play area. Awesome. So then, who do you think is going to go there?
Families with kids and everything. They have a baby area also.
Family with kids. Do you think Chef Eric's business people will go there?
If they're a family person.
Yeah, but for business?
No.
No, right? So then you don't have to worry about marketing to a business corporate person to do like, hey, get your business deals done here. You don't have to worry about that. Right?
Discrimination though to.
Well, and this is where it's more like a trickle down effect. So you want to hit who your target market is, and you want to market to them, because you can't market to everybody. We don't have that much money. And if you have that much money, I don't know about you, but I would not be opening up an establishment. I would be having like a second house and like a second house by the ocean, because that would be like millions and millions of dollars if you market to everybody. So you want to know who you are actually going to market, and then it's that trickle down effect. It's kind of like McDonald's. McDonald's is not marketing to those millionaires and billionaires, but they will gladly take their money. And it will, second house in New Hampshire, yes. And you're not ever turning anybody away, but you're just not going to spend your precious money on marketing to them. Like, I will not market to Chef Tyson because he loves meat too much. Like, he is full meat. I swear, I don't even know if he eats vegetables because he loves that much meat. I'm sure he does, but he is a meat lover.
He does. He just prefers the only 1 ounce side portion of it, and the rest of his plate filled with meat. Him and I have had meals together, and it's quite funny. He orders a platter of meat, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that butcher, he's quite the butcher, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and so he's probably not going to have that much of a great experience at my vegan restaurant with no meat at all, right? And so, hold on, Michelle, I see you have a question, but hold on one sec. So I want to make certain that you guys know, it is important to know your concept and know your location, because if you want to do a high-end place and have it like a high-end place in the middle of nowhere, is it really going to do well? Versus it would do better in a city, and versus your price. Would somebody pay $20 for chicken in your area, or will they only pay $10? Like, knowing all this information can help you and just get you to where you want your establishment to be, how to grow it. And I have a great story for this too. There was a restaurant called Melt, The Melt. They specialized in grilled cheeses. They opened, they're big in California, in like LA, San Francisco, San Diego, those places. And then they tried opening in Colorado, and they had a couple of locations in Colorado. They had one in Fort Collins. I'm pretty sure they had a few around you, Chef. And they were, I swear, like the world's most expensive grilled cheese that you will ever find. It was like $20 for a grilled cheese sandwich. $20.
I think they actually had one in Boulder.
Yes, and they all closed. They all closed because people would not spend $20 on a grilled cheese sandwich in Colorado. They will in California, in LA and San Diego, but they would not in Colorado. So they ended up closing all of the Colorado stores. Now, would you guys pay $20 for a grilled cheese sandwich?
It would have to be the right grilled cheese sandwich. I've had a kimchi grilled cheese sandwich with a goat cheese dressing. I would pay $20 to eat one of those.
This one, they had interesting one. It was a grilled cheese sandwich, but it was filled with mac and cheese. So it was mac and cheese in between two pieces of bread. Like they had specialty ones like that. Not the cool kimchi one. I would eat that if I could eat cheese.
I pay $20 for a grilled cheese sandwich. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, right? So then, you know, like your business, like, yeah, it's going to fail because you overpriced it and you're trying to do, you tried to do this niche, but the niche didn't fit your location.
So why wouldn't they just change the prices then? Why would they keep it California prices? Because California's overpriced to begin with. Like in LA, you would pay $20 for something. But why not just change the price and market towards the consumer there?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. But that would be a good thing to look up. So I'm going to look that up, Carrie, because I don't know. But you can also think if they're trying to be a big franchise, I mean, if you go to a Starbucks, no matter where in the US, that Starbucks is going to be the same price. That latte is the same exact price no matter what. That McDonald's, that's the same exact price. So you still want to keep it consistent. You don't want to have people and say, well, oh, cool, they have one of their establishments here, but why is it $10 more for stuff? Like, I'm not going to eat it here. Like, that's a ripoff. So you do, when you do go into that franchising world, you do want to keep it consistent, not only the product, but the price. So they, but they just did not, you know, figure out that that would be a good price for anywhere else besides California. I don't know why just California, but California. Michelle, yes.
Yeah, for my establishment, because of where I'm at, because literally our closest restaurant is 2 towns away. So, and it's fast food. But I wanted to open up like a family dining, but have a separate room that, you know, like the business people from town hall or, you know, the cops can actually come to instead of having, you know, because on their lunch break, they literally have to drive 2 towns away just to get a burger for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I said, there's like nothing here. So it's like I want to try to not so much please everybody, but see what's in my area. Be like, you know, so by the time you get there, you're just so worn out or it's time to go. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I want to bring it a little bit closer to this end of the world.
In this end of the world. Yes. And then Sharon, I saw that you had a question. Do you not have a question anymore?
Oh, no, I do have a question. I'm going to have to leave a little early. My daughter just texted me. One of my grandsons has fallen and hurt himself.
Oh,
and
no.
my question was, when we do your discussion forum, how many responses would you like us to do?
Look at you, Sharon. Way to segue. That is awesome. We're going to do 2. Here, let me pull this up. Your assignment, it is a discussion, and you will have 2 peer responses. They will be due on Tuesday. I expect more than I agree or I disagree because you want to continue that conversation. It's like a live session just online, right? Or more just not in person, right? Think of yourselves as like back in the, you know, like Pride and Prejudice and, you know, Jane Austen time when everybody would write letters back and forth to each other. You're just writing letters back and forth to each other, but it's just a little bit faster, right? So I expect you guys to write letters to each other for your peer responses, not full page ones, and you don't have to do cursive, but better responses, then I agree or I disagree. And if I switch my share.
Thank you, Chef.
Yeah. Oh, did I do it right? Yep. Okay. Perfect. Right here, remember you have your lessons and your assignment is right here. You click on that and you will be able to post and you pick one of these menu items. So who do you think would eat here? And then why you chose it, what age group you think, because do you think a bunch of teenagers are going to eat there? Do you think a bunch of, you know, middle-aged people like myself who has kids are going to eat there? Do you think seniors are going to eat there? And then what aspects of the menu led you to pick from these target demographics and list one age or income demographic you don't think will eat at your restaurant. So for my example is Chef Tyson, right? I'm a vegan restaurant. I'm not going to market to, say, hunters who love meat and hunt their own meat and all that kind of stuff. If I'm McDonald's, I'm not going to market to those millionaires, billionaires. If I am a seafood joint, I am not going to market to people with a shellfish allergy. Those kind of things. And then I know Chef, and this one I wanted to pull up and also get ready to pull up yours, Chef Eric. The menu that you had. Mm-hmm. This place I wanted to pull out because my husband and I love this place. One of the reasons why we love it is they have a variety of menus. They have a menu for me. They have a menu for somebody who is a nut allergy, and they have somebody who is a shellfish allergy. So my husband and I will eat here all the time because we don't have to second guess anything. We're like, yes, this is awesome. Like, we don't have to think about it. I don't have to sit there and do the calculations and think, oh my God, like, do they understand that, you know, what dairy is and eggs is not dairy, but for some reason everybody always thinks eggs is considered dairy. I blame the old school food pyramid for that. And that place is, you know, they have a menu just for me. I am going to eat there. And Chef Eric, what was your menu that you had up?
Oh, I actually found that one for that we actually went to and we were discussing.
Oh, awesome. The one with the
on that one.
Terrible.
Yeah, so I found that menu online as to where, you know, we were discussing last week pertaining to the menu, right? You know, it's like, take a quick gander at this. You know, this is their dinner menu, right? Things are looking pretty slick, right? As to where, think of this though with the lighting. Okay, so the lighting is going to be kind of like, you know, dinner-esque. So the lighting is going to be like the sun's going down, the lights usually generally get toned down, get you more comfortable. And when you're looking at a menu and everything's dark around you, do you want to look at something that's dark? Whoa, yeah, that's dark like this here. And this was that wings that I was talking about, right? This right here. It's kind of hidden, right? Look at the font and everything. It all almost kind of blends together to where it almost looks like it, in that type of setting, when you have this sitting in front of you, it almost just kind of blends into just a black square, like nothing's really even there, right? It's a little tricky, right? As to where that's not something that you want popping out being so dark. Generally, when it comes down to a menu design, you want something that's going to contrast with the rest, but maybe have the entire background be this darker color and majority of your other things be this type of font and color behind it, as to where when you want something to pop out, you want that contrast to be generally kind of lighter, not on the darker side of things, right? This when we were sitting there at that table, it just like none of us, okay, a table of probably like, how many chefs were there? It
was like 20 chefs.
Yeah. None of us really recognized that they even had wings on their menu. Like, we didn't have the faintest idea. Like, I was looking at this menu and I was like, oh, okay, cool, you know, just kind of like checking things out. And this is actually a little different laid out than what they had in person, as to where they had, I ordered this like Colorado protein bowl like thing, and it was like right underneath this, and I looked up and I was thinking that the buffalo hot sauce, and I keep doing it, this buffalo hot sauce, barbecue, Parmesan ranch, and were like dressings that I could add to my protein bowl. Like that's what I first initially thought. As where I didn't even see like 10 wings, 20 wings, or just wings in general. I was like, oh, this is for wings. After I already looked at all the sauces, and I was so confused as to where majority of the rest of us chefs were as well. Just like, I did not realize they even had wings on their menu. So.
Yeah, and do you see that font color too? How it was dark, and then they had that lighter one. It was so hard to actually read that lighter font. I actually purposely skipped over those ones because I could not read it in the lighting that we were in.
Yeah, telephone book page, correct. It looks like it's just like somebody's just kind of like listing a bunch of stuff, and it gets all kind of blurred. You know, it's hard to read, hard to follow, as to where I think Chef Suzanne read over that menu like 4 times.
We all did. We were all like.
She kept going back to just one thing, though. It was like this lemon chicken that was on that menu. She kept going back to it. I was like, well, that's your mind telling you that you should order that. Right? That's your subconscious saying, order me, order me. So, but yeah, just think about that when it comes down to your menu design, guys, is to where you want things, especially like we're going to be talking about in a few weeks when it comes down to that popularity and profitability stuff, is to where if something like, do you think those wings are popular being so small and tiny and kind of like dark and that font very hidden? I don't think many people at that establishment order wings there.
No, not at all. We certainly didn't. I mean, my favorite was Chef Chanel's face when we said, oh, did you see the black, like there's stuff in the black? And she was like, there's stuff in the black box? And she was just like, like she just had that like awesome, like, oh my God, what were they thinking? And then, so think about that. Yeah, especially I think it'll be good if we bring up good menus and then bad menus, so that you guys have good examples and then bad examples to see. We're going to send some out. That'll be a fun thing to find and send out. But remember, your assignment, it is that discussion. Just pick one restaurant, and it has to be, you know, and have meaning behind it. Why do you think it's going to be a good restaurant? And for that age group, demographic, income, that kind of thing. And then your 2 peer responses. All of this will be due on Tuesday, 11:59 p.m. But you guys did so awesome last week with getting your assignments in like early. That was awesome. So keep that up. You should just keep that going. Get it done before the weekend so you can fully enjoy your weekend, right? Yes, chef. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. I hope everybody has a fabulous week. And I am looking forward to seeing everybody in the discussion, writing some fantastic letters back and forth to each other. And no cursive. Isn't that great? Don't have to worry about it.
And replies don't count if you reply back to Chef or I.
Yes.
You got to reply to your peers. Yes,
correct. You have to. So say Michelle wrote something super awesome, then Sharon will write something back about what Michelle wrote, that kind of thing. Right? Awesome. Okay, guys. I'll see everybody next week. Bye, everyone.